Hello, listeners. My name is Maxim. I don't know how this story ends, but I want someone to hear it. We begin. I slept comfortably yesterday, but I was woken up by the sound of a message from my phone. I raise my head and see that morning is approaching. It is terribly hot in the house because it is already summer. Not even a bird sings quietly outside. Everyone is sleeping normally. Outside the window is a big oak that looks like a monster in the dark. It slowly moves through the branches and scratches the window. It sounds like a fairy tale so far, but I wouldn't interpret it if it was something positive. I pick up the phone. White light. I lose sight for a while. I cover my eyes with my other hand. I gradually get used to the light. I look at the screen and I realize what's happening can't be true. New SMS from Margarita. Time 4:20. I knew this time. I knew it too well. 7 months ago, my wife Margarita died in 4.20. Margarita. We met in a dream in autumn. An autumn day dawned. She was trying to fix the umbrella when a really unpleasant heavy rain started. I quickly ran, hid the book with my umbrella, and asked her where she was going and if she wanted help. She thanked and asked to accompany her to the bus stop. So I went to accompany her. The bus arrived quickly. Margarita thanked and quickly jumped on the bus. Then I turned to her, and she too, and I remembered that I hadn't taken her phone number. Then I went to work. I work in the office. In the evening, I left the house outside the stop, where I accompanied Margarita, to whom, strangely enough, she was sitting there eating a cake from the nearest bakery, which stands in the corner of the building. So I went closer and saw that she was smiling kindly. I was glad to see her again. It turned out that she had 2 cookies, which she kindly offered me. I wasn't against it, and I took it. We entered the bus and sat together. Then she said that her stop was almost there, so I offered to give her a phone number. Margarita dictated her number and went away. On the weekend, we agreed to go out together for a walk. Then we went together again and again. So over time, it became a couple. Why am I explaining this to you? So that you can understand that I loved her terribly. The little red-haired and cute girl. So that you can understand that I loved her terribly. The little red-haired and cute girl. I was ready for everything for her. She was the best thing that happened in my life. I wanted to dream of living long and beautiful, with plenty and love. But, as you understood, it didn't happen anymore. Margarita and I loved each other, and so they decided to get married and have a nice and beautiful wedding. So we got married and decided we wanted a baby. So we sold the 2 apartments we owned and bought a big house in a beautiful place next to the forest. Next to it is a fast-flowing river. In the middle, the meadow is wet. I bought a car in pretty good condition with the leftover money. We made a beautiful environment for raising children. We lived in this house for a year, and then something happened that turned my whole life upside down. That evening, Margarita and I had a fight over something stupid. She said she would sleep on the sofa on the 1st floor. She was terribly angry, so I reluctantly sent the proposal to the living room. I didn't want to sleep alone, but I could see that she was upset, and it didn't make sense. Because if we were to lie down now, we would have to argue again. So the only correct solution was to go into separate rooms. He hoped that everything would be resolved in the morning. But Margarita was so angry that she didn't even change her clothes. She went to bed in a sweatshirt and jeans. I threw off my clothes and lay down. The balance of adrenaline in my blood kept me from falling asleep, and the full moon was shining directly on my face and kept me from falling asleep. The curtains on the windows didn't help. I was angry with Margarita, but I couldn't stay angry for a long time, so I gave up somewhere in the night and fell asleep. I saw beautiful dreams, but I was woken up by a scream from the 1st floor. But it wasn't Margarita's scream. It was someone, or rather something else. The scream, if the sound can be defined by it, was something primitive, or something strange, as if it was a primitive man or animal. 3. I went downstairs and saw what was still chasing me through the night walls. Margarita, or what was left of her, was scattered on the floor. I only saw the lower part of the body. I didn't see the lower part. I got scared. The door was open. Bloody fingerprints were on the ground and led outside. The tracks were terribly blurry, and it was impossible to tell from them. The wind was blowing on me from outside. I thought that something that killed Margarita took part of her body and carried it away to the forest to eat it there. Then I decided to close the door, but opposite were parts of Margarita. So I gave up and quickly ran upstairs, wanting to call the local police. The only thing that satisfied me was that it was already dawn. I didn't wait long. The police arrived, took a look, and decided that it was attacked by a forest animal. The animal rode, killed, and carried off part of Margarita. I reminded her of the strange scream, but they only reminded her that forest animals can do it too. It looked like they weren't very interested and wanted to go home quickly and not become mentally abnormal at 5 a.m. in the morning. The next day I was very depressed, and for weeks I immersed myself in work. I couldn't explain it all. It was so long ago and recently at the same time. 7 long months. Now I'm looking at the screen. I see a short text message from Margarita. My heart is filled with blood. What was written there? The perfect dinner came out. He he he. What is it? It's a joke. Or like me, I'm stupidly staring at the screen. I don't know what to do. So I wanted to write to the cretin who took her phone because it was in the litter box. Who are you? I wrote. Yes, it wasn't anything fantastic, but I didn't know what to write. They answered mine quickly. Good question. But tell me, why didn't you play her? She was such a treat. He soft. She screamed your name, but you didn't want her help. Why? I wanted to write the shit, but I saw that he was writing something, so I waited to see what he would write. What are these words, Maxime? Did you like your wife with this lip? And yes, you don't like her anymore, because she's dead. Hi, hi, hi. I completely wrote to him. Where did you know what I wanted to write? My name. I looked around. I had an unnatural fear. This time I waited for an answer for a terribly long time. I watched with fear as 3 dots shone on the Obrayovka, and it was written, Margarita is writing a text message. Instead of a text message, I received a picture. There was a door. The door I immediately recognized was the door to my room. I immediately turned around the door. I was waiting for it to open and something standing there to jump in. But surprisingly, nothing happened. I almost died of fear. A new SMS arrived. I saw an SMS from someone who had my dead wife's phone. Don't worry, Maxime. I didn't come to kill you. I came to give you a present. Hi. Stop worrying. Come out and see what I got for you. You will love it, lol. My stomach started to hurt from fear. I was frantically looking around, waiting for something to jump out of the closet or from the curtains. When someone threw something out the window, my heart couldn't handle it anymore. When I realized that it was a trick from a tree that fell on the roof, I turned on the light and went to bed, so I lay there for 10 minutes. Then I nervously threw off the blanket and got out of bed. I zoomed in on the door. Before the door, I wondered if I wanted to see what was waiting for me there. I decided and opened the door. What I saw surprised me. It wasn't my wife's top or monsters. It was a piece of paper. On the piece of paper was written, I'll see you tomorrow at 4:20. I couldn't do anything today. I hardly ate. I can't, and I don't want to do anything. I didn't go to work. The day goes terribly slowly. My watch shows 4:20. I received an SMS. I never imagined that the short sound of an SMS would be so scary. I don't know what will happen.